In these troubling days of a modern world gone mad, one man has the technology to make a difference in time and space.
So at this time, I would like to... here's Bill and Billy.
Yeah.
Hello,
Cousin
Bill.
Alvin. Hi.
Just telling folks we was waiting for you.
Yeah, I could tell you were waiting like a filly at the finish line. Now, sit down there, Cousin Alvin. Hi, folks, and welcome to the Old American Barn Dance. Sorry to be a little bit late. Some of the kitchen chickens got loose from the kitchen. Had to get them back into the roost. You know how that is. We got a good group here for you to entertain you. People like Patsy Montana and Solly Holmes and Kenny Roberts, Johnny Bond, the Candy Mountain Girls, Bob Schaefer and his saddle pals, and just a whole bunch of wonderful people. And I suppose since Cousin Alvin did start the shebang here, we better, when he gets set on an idea, it's just best to humor him. I found that out, so we'll call on him for his rendition.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bill.
That's all right.
Big introduction to my song. I've been practicing, and I think I got it down pretty good. So,
How's the fan mail?
It's been coming in very good. My fan mail, thousands. Thanks a lot for that card, Mom. So at this time, I would like to sing an old favorite of mine called Grandfather Left to Me His Old Brown Pants.
Good. Cousin, go ahead and sing it for us.
My grandfather, he at the age of 93 got disgusted and made up his mind to die. And of course he left a will, and to my brother Bill left the real estate which in the town did lie. And to my sister Jane, he left a watch and chain, a house and lot, he left a sister Nanch. But how it made me swear when the lawyer did declare that he left to me his old brown pants.
Brown pants?
Yeah. How they did giggle, how they did yell, even my sister and my dear Isabel. How they would laugh whenever they got the chance, 'cause grandfather left to me his old brown pants. Bill and Mary wed, so the boys and girls all said, we'll surprise them with an old sewing bee. Well, colors was in great demand, so the old pants come in hand as they ripped them and they joked so merrily. Isabel, the waistband tore, something rolled out on the floor. It's $1,000 bill, cried Sister Nance. And they nearly all dropped dead when I picked them up and said, now don't you wish you had the old brown pants? How they did giggle, how they did yell, even my sister and my dear Isabel. How they would laugh whenever they got the chance, 'cause grandfather left to me his old brown pants. 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 Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you see, Johnny Bond, when you come out here and sing a song like that, you have to sort of put yourself into it. You see, you have to give the folks what they want to hear, you see.
What they want, yeah.
You don't just come out here and stand there picking that guitar. You have to do more than that. Yeah. And if you think you can do any better...
Now, wait,
Wait,
just a minute. Now, just waiting, Johnny, for Cousin Alvin to say something like that. Frankly, cousin, I think Johnny Bond can do better. After all, everybody all over the country likes to hear him sing, and he practices, and maybe he can do a little bit better. Can't you, Johnny?
Well, I don't know, Bill. You kind of put me on the spot here. I'll tell you what, Alvin. I won't guarantee that this will be better.
Well, no.
I'll just try and make it louder. How's that?
Now, you come with me and listen.
Way out in old Oklahoma, in the land of the blue Cimarron, I found an Indian maiden, and I called her my Cherokee fawn. We loved, we courted each other, and we named our own wedding day. But the great white spirit up yonder took my Cherokee flower away. Sweet Cherokee maiden, I'll watch for you in the stars. Each night on the prairie, I'm alone with the strumming guitar. Sweet tunes they are playing reminds me of someone I lost. So I'll send a song to the heavens, and I'll call it my Cherokee Rose. Old Cimarron flowing, rolling along to the sea. Though faithful forever, you can't bring my darling to me. Oh, send her my true love, tell her 'twill never be false. I'll have her memory forever in the beautiful Cherokee waltz.
That was wonderful. And I think you've inspired the Cantor Mountain girls, because Corky and Mary Jane and Sandy said, Bill, can we sing one next? And I said, you bet you can.
This is the story of a road and the men who traveled over it in search of gold. That thoroughfare ran over the high jagged spine of these mountains, the fabulous Sierra Nevada. They are the greatest single mountain range in the United States. They culminate in the nation's loftiest peak, and they are cut by gorges deeper than the Grand Canyon, a region of startling contrasts. A spectacular country, bright with color and rich in history. For here is where the days of '49 were born. This part of the world remains largely as God fashioned it. The geological story here has been going on for 500 million years. The rivers brought the gold within man's reach, and here in their ancient channels flourished for a decade the greatest, most feverish gold rush in all history. And nuggets like these fired the great migration that made the West. That epic story is now reenacted by today's mountain men and women of El Dorado County. They're going to travel the same road of the 49ers to Hangtown, in the heart of the Mother Lode gold country. They're making up a caravan to retrace the wheel tracks of 100 years ago, when the pioneers crossed the mighty barrier to find their fortunes and to press our frontier into California. The wagon master signals, and we're off to Hangtown. Get up there! We've got 68 miles to cover over the most picturesque strip of U.S. Highway 50. Where Nevada touches California at state line, the journey into yesteryear officially begins. This road is paved with the deeds of history, though most of the landmarks are long since gone. The cobalt waters of Lake Tahoe reflect the bright summer sun to make this seem a golden age too. No hurry, let's take our time. The 49ers didn't really rush to the gold rush, and they did pretty well. Took out $50 million a year for 10 years. Today's highway follows and uses portions of the old emigrant road. Some of the hardier souls cut off to ride high trails through the scenic uplands. They'll rejoin the caravan at a later rendezvous. The long climb to Echo Summit begins. This stretch used to give the stagecoach drivers nightmares. They used to bump and rattle and lurch over this very pass. But they carried the mail through, and the bullion, and the passengers, over what they called the Terrible Sierra. Today, modern highway construction has made this one of America's most scenic arteries. You know, this road witnessed the greatest era of horse-drawn freighting and stagecoaching ever known anywhere. Back in the 60s, it was choked with 2 continuous lines of traffic, moving east and west with hardly a break between wheels. 5,000 teams of horses carried 100,000 tons of cargo and 20,000 adventurous passengers by this spot in a single year. The white man first saw this country in 1772, but for centuries before the Argonauts came, Indians roamed this range. Then came the Fremonts, the Kit Carsons, the Pathfinders, fur trappers and scouts. They all broke trails for the wheels to follow, for America to roll west. Our modern horsemen wind past Echo Lake into El Dorado National Forest. An old-line forest ranger is their guide as they pick their way along remnants of early emigrant trails still to be found over the crests of this wonderland. Today, scenery like this is bringing a new boom to El Dorado County, even though the riches of gold mining are now but a memory. Geologists say there's still plenty of gold in those mountains. They say only 1/10 of it has been located and mined. Snow brings water to the valleys and draws sportsmen to the Sierra ski runs. Snow helped to make tourist trade the #2 industry, second only to lumber. Well, our trail riders have reached the ridge of Mount Ralston and are touching 10,000 feet. Kit Carson himself could do no better. This is the top. An early map designated this as a primitive area. Today, names like Desolation Valley and Devil's Peak reflect the feeling with which the pioneers regarded this region. Some authorities mention Bill Cody and Wild Bill Hickok as famous wayfarers who traveled this route. And from their writings, we know that Mark Twain, Bret Harte, and Horace Greeley were among those who followed the sage advice, "Go west, young man, go west." The bells of the 10-mule jerkline team echo the journeys of the host of forgotten 49ers who died with that golden age. The stirring deeds of illustrious men and women hang in the air, as majestic in their own way as the remarkable sculpture in stone left by the glaciers. Lover's Leap rises a sheer 1,000 feet. Looking down from the peak, there's our caravan way down there. They've just passed Horsetail Falls and are approaching famous old Strawberry House, where weary travelers, teamsters, and stagers paused along the original emigrant trail for a well-earned rest. We're jogging along in fine style with no worries until shades of Black Bart, king of the highwaymen. This is a stagecoach holdup at the exact spot on Bullion Bend where it actually happened 88 years ago. This boy means business. Throw down that Wells Fargo treasure. I would, wouldn't you? I wouldn't do that. Dangerous Dan won't like it. Give them what they want. We ain't got a chance. The history book says so. Well, that's one shipment that didn't get through. But it's interesting to know that most of the bandits were killed or captured. So you see the kind of goings-on that gave Hangtown its name. And this is the bell that called the vigilantes to perform swift and sure frontier justice. An air of antiquity hangs over the town, now called Placerville. Many of the relics of those heroic days still stand, some over a century old. Nearby at Sutter's Mill, James Marshall discovered gold in 1848, changing the whole course of the country's history. His hand points to the exact spot. Our caravan is going to get a real Western welcome. They finally made it, a triumphal entry into old Hangtown. You can't blame people for coming to Hangtown when you remember that some of the boys back yonder took $5 million in gold out of one hole just 12 feet long. You can't call that dry digging. Rip-roaring Hangtown is really quite civilized now. But there's still life left in the old town. Or at any rate, this descendant of the rough-and-tumble old-timers will be glad to prove it if you want to change places with him. Who said the chaos and violence of the old days are gone forever? Just like old times, isn't it? In mining days, the old boys did some high grading, but today the young boys do some high riding, till they come down, that is. That right, Dad? Something tells us this boy may stay on for the required 10 seconds. Yep, we knew it all the time. The people of Placerville always did like a winner. The wagon train caravan has reached its rainbow's end, Hangtown. It too will go down in history beside its counterpart of a century ago. The smartest entries and the best trail riders are awarded trophies in gold, the very metal that spurred the westward migration. The trek of the modern gold seekers ends in glory, just like the one 100 years ago. This pictorial record of the birth of the West has been brought to you by the Standard Oil Company of California.
Now, just a minute, McGee. Fibber, McGee, don't go near that closet.
Don't fret yourself, Bud. I'll find it. It's got to be in here someplace. Holy mackerel. Well, what do you know? My old mandolin. Hello. I'm Jim Jordan. If you're in your 50s or more, you'll probably remember me as Fibber McGee from the radio show Fibber McGee and Molly. As McGee, you can see that I had trouble storing things and had to make every spare inch count. Today, we have a different problem, how to make every dollar count. That's why the American Association of Retired Persons, a national nonprofit organization of almost 6 million members, has a consumer guide booklet on shopping for just about everything. If you're over 55, it's yours free for writing to me, Fibber McGee, AARP, Washington, D.C. I know it's here someplace. I gotta find it.
Pretty jazzy, huh? It's got all kind of terrific flowers and ferns all over it, even around the edges. Boy, what colors. You know, Cantor made it. They can't make a great-looking towel. Who can? Interested? Don't rush down to your department store. The only place you'll find this little gem is in Breeze. You know, Breeze, until you came along, nobody ever gave me flowers.
It's Speedline. It's Aurora. Drag set. Stunt set. 2-in-1 set. 2 cars. 2-leg track. Race cars. Stunt cars. Power. Finger power. Speedline cars. Speedline track. Speedline Super Looper. Look at the box. Extra cars under $1 each. Aurora! Aurora!
This is Felix Unger, a photographer. And this is Oscar Madison, a sports writer. Felix and Oscar have 2 things in common. They are both divorced, and they share the same apartment.
Felix, what are you doing?
There are ashes working their way into the nap of the carpet.
My fist is going to work its way into the nape of your neck if you don't stop cleaning. I took you into my apartment because I thought we could have some laughs. But your idea of a fun evening is defrosting the icebox.
Did you ever look under your bed? There's stuff growing under there.
You stop exaggerating. That's a little dust.
Lawrence of Arabia couldn't make it through such dust.
Tony Randall and Jack Klugman star in The Odd Couple on ABC.
The scientists of the world have freely exchanged their knowledge. This worldwide search for truth has led to the greatest of all discoveries, atomic energy. No one scientist or nation is responsible. The periodic law of the elements was discovered by Mendeleev, a Russian. The electron by Thomson, an Englishman. The theory of relativity by Einstein, a German. The atomic nucleus by Rutherford, a New Zealander. Atomic structure by the Dane, Niels Bohr. The positron by Anderson of the United States. The neutron by Chadwick of Great Britain. Artificial radioactivity by the Joliots of France. Uranium was transmuted by Fermi of Italy. The mesotron theory was developed by Yukawa in Japan. Barium was derived from uranium by Hahn of Germany. Uranium was split by Meitner of Austria. This pooling of knowledge is shared by all. There is no secret. When a neutron strikes, the atom is split. Released neutrons split other atoms. The result is atomic energy. Shall the people of the world use this energy for the destruction or the betterment of mankind? The United States used this power to destroy Hiroshima. Deadly radioactive rays, and in a matter of seconds, downtown New York would be a mass of ruins. Throughout the entire lower end of Manhattan, most people would be dead. All buildings from Washington Square to the Battery would be destroyed. In Chicago, from Halsted Street to Lake Michigan and from Chicago Avenue to Roosevelt Road, the city would lie in ruins. In San Francisco, devastation would be complete from Pacific Avenue to Townsend Street, and from Van Ness Avenue to the Ferry Building. One atomic bomb did this to a city and its people. most ruthless aggressors of the past had no such weapon. The soldier of Alexander with one spear killed one. Napoleon's cannon in one firing killed 12. The Kaiser's Big Bertha killed 88. Hitler's V2 killed 168. Japan's war against the United States ended after a B-29 dropped one atomic bomb that killed close to 100,000. The deadly power can be exerted at great distances. The first atomic bomb was dropped on a round trip of 3,000 miles on August 1945. On November 20th of that year, the effective range was extended to 8,000 miles. The United States had demonstrated that an atomic bomb could be launched to reach any country in the world. A grim reminder to all nations that had the bomb and this plane been in possession of the Axis powers, they could have conquered the world. There would have been no defense against this weapon. A single plane would have broken through to destroy the heart of London. V2s with atomic warheads could have destroyed England. At the moment of surrender, Hitler had in the blueprint stage transoceanic rockets, which could have destroyed our cities. U-boats could have surfaced off our shores and launched atomic rockets against vital targets. The fifth column would have had an even more insidious means of destruction. Parts of bombs could have been smuggled in, and under the cloak of darkness, infernal machines could have been assembled by saboteurs. It is therefore an imperative necessity that all the nations of the world unite to avert catastrophe. The United Nations must establish a worldwide control of atomic energy and of other weapons of mass destruction. Representatives of the peoples of the world must together make laws which will abolish war, laws which will hold the individual in all lands responsible for crime against world peace. Only through proper control of atomic energy can we answer the question how this great force may be used for the benefit of mankind. Atomic energy, freed from the menace of war, can be for all people in all nations the great fusing force of one world. The choice is clear. It is life or death.
Pretty jazzy, huh? It's got all kinds of terrific flowers and ferns all over it. Boy, what colors. This blue kind of matches my eyes. You know, Cantor made it. And if they can't make a great-looking towel, who can? Interested? Don't rush down to your department store. The only place you'll find this little gem is in Breeze. You know, Breeze, until you came along, nobody ever gave me flowers.
I wonder who could be knocking at this hour.
Me, that's who.
Oh, dear, it's the Blue Baron, Your Majesty.
Yes, King Vitaman, and I'm here to capture your golden treasure.
I didn't think it was a social call. What do you think, Sir Craven?
Give him the treasure, sire.
My golden treasure? You mean my whole supply of King Vitaman cereal? Those sugar-sweet little golden crowns, crisp and crunchy, every bowlful with a whole day's worth of vitamins and iron? Oh, I can't do it, Craven.
Then what is your command, sire?
Open the front gate.
But you just said...
And while you're at it, open the back gate, too.
Charge! Hold it! Hold it! Yay! He did it!
Long live King Vitaman!
Oh, I will, as long as I keep eating this.
King Vitaman cereal, a royal treat from Quaker.
It regally is.
Marlboro Country, a good smoke at the end of a working day.
You've been moving hard since sunup through a long and dusty day. The cattle stop their moving round, things begin to settle down. Seems like town a million miles away. 40 miles of riding to the end of a working day. You settle back as shadows run to catch that big red setting sun. The evening of a Marlboro Country day.
Come to where the flavor is. Come to Marlboro Country.
When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, our west coast became a potential combat zone. Living in that zone were more than 100,000 persons of Japanese ancestry, 2/3 of them American citizens, 1/3 aliens. We knew that some among them were potentially dangerous. Most were loyal, but no one knew what would happen among this concentrated population if Japanese forces should try to invade our shores. Military authorities therefore determined that all of them, citizens and aliens alike, would have to move. This picture tells how the mass migration was accomplished. Neither the Army nor the War Relocation Authority relished the idea of taking men, women, and children from their homes, their shops, and their farms. So the military and civilian agencies alike determined to do the job as a democracy should, with real consideration for the people involved. First attention was given to the problems of sabotage and espionage. Now, here at San Francisco, for example, convoys were being made up within sight of possible Axis agents. There were more Japanese in Los Angeles than in any other area. At nearby San Pedro, houses and hotels occupied almost exclusively by Japanese were within a stone's throw of a naval air base, shipyards, oil wells. Japanese fishermen had every opportunity to watch the movement of our ships. Japanese farmers were living close to vital aircraft plants. So as a first step,
all Japanese were required to move from critical areas such as these. But of course, this limited evacuation was a solution to only part of the problem. The larger problem, the uncertainty of what would happen among these people in case of a Japanese invasion, still remained. That is why the commanding general of the Western Defense Command determined that all Japanese within the coastal area should move inland. Immediately, the Army began mapping evacuation areas and for a time encouraged the Japanese to leave voluntarily. The trouble for the voluntary evacuees soon threatened in their new locations. So the program was quickly put on a planned and protected basis. Thereafter, the American citizen Japanese and Japanese aliens made their plans in accordance with Army orders. Notices were posted. All persons of Japanese descent were required to register. They gathered in their own churches and schools, and the Japanese themselves cheerfully handled the enormous paperwork involved in the migration. Civilian physicians made preliminary medical examinations. Government agencies helped in 100 ways. They helped the evacuees find tenants for their farms. They helped businessmen lease, sell, or store their property. Now, this aid was financed by the government, but quick disposal of property often involved financial sacrifice for the evacuees. Now the actual migration got underway. The Army provided fleets of vans to transport household belongings and buses to move the people to assembly centers. The evacuees cooperated wholeheartedly. The many loyal among them felt that this was a sacrifice they could make in behalf of America's war effort. In small towns as well as large, up and down the coast, the moving continued. Behind them, they left shops and homes they had occupied for many years. Their fishing fleets were impounded and left under guard. Now they were taken to racetracks and fairgrounds where the Army almost overnight had built assembly centers. They lived here until new pioneer communities could be completed on federally owned lands in the interior. Santa Anita Racetrack, for example, suddenly became a community of about 17,000 persons. The Army provided housing and plenty of healthful, nourishing food for all. The residents of the new community set about developing a way of life as nearly normal as possible. They held church services, Protestant, Catholic, and Buddhist. They issued their own newspaper, organized nursery schools, and some made camouflage nets for the United States Army. Meanwhile, in Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and elsewhere, quarters were being built where they would have an opportunity to work and more space in which to live. When word came that these new homes were ready, the final movement began. At each relocation center, evacuees were met by an advance contingent of Japanese who had arrived some days earlier and who now acted as guides. Naturally, the newcomers looked about with some curiosity. They were in a new area, on land that was raw, untamed, but full of opportunity. Here they would build schools, educate their children, reclaim the desert. Their own physicians took precautions to guard against epidemics. They opened advanced Americanization classes for college students, who in turn would instruct other groups. They made a rough beginning at self-government, for while the Army would guard the outer limits of each area, community life and security within were largely up to the Japanese themselves. They immediately saw the need for developing civic leaders. At weekly community meetings, citations were given to the block leaders who had worked most diligently. Special emphasis was put on the health and care of these American children of Japanese descent. most of whom are American citizens, and their grandparents, who are aliens, immediately wanted to go to work. At Manzanar, they built a lath house and began rooting guayuli cuttings. The plants, when mature, will add to our rubber supply. At Parker, they undertook the irrigation of fertile desert lands. Meanwhile, in areas away from the coast and under appropriate safeguards, many were permitted to enter private employment, particularly to work in sugar beet fields where labor was badly needed. Now, this brief picture is actually the prologue to a story that is yet to be told. The full story will begin to unfold when the raw lands of the desert turn green, when all adult hands are at productive work on public lands or in private employment. It will be fully told only when circumstances permit the loyal American citizens once again to enjoy the freedom we in this country cherish, and when the disloyal, we hope, have left this country for good. In the meantime, we are setting a standard for the rest of the world in the treatment of people who may have loyalties to an enemy nation. We are protecting ourselves without violating the principles of Christian decency. And we won't change this fundamental decency no matter what our enemies do. But of course, we hope most earnestly that our example will influence the Axis powers in their treatment of Americans who fall into their hands.
From the director of Animal House.
From the dawn of man comes Banana Monster. A beast from 20 million years ago stalks the streets of today. A love stranger than King Kong. A monster more powerful than Godzilla. See a small California town learn the true meaning of terror.
Bananas! How about the National Guard?
Oh, this is going to be the best, Santa.
See the police and National Guard powerless before the awesome creature.
Hold it, hold it! Can't you wait, that's got Mindy?
Why not? Can nothing stop it? Can anything stop it? First, birth of a nation. Then, Gone with the Wind. 2001, A Space Odyssey. Love story. See you next Wednesday. And now, Banana Monster. There is no place to hide. No one is safe from Banana Monster. Banana Monster. Banana Monster. Banana Monster.
Ready or not, here it comes. The makers of Fritz the Cat now bring you Heavy Traffic.
Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true?
It's the story of Michael, a 24-year-old pinball-playing virgin.
Mick Jagger, I'm not.
Angie, his Italian father.
Ma chi sta innamorando, capisci?
Ida, his Jewish mother.
I died the day I married a guy.
Okay, Ida, come on. This is it.
Sing it up, baby. Sing it up, baby. With this song.
And Carol, his black sweetheart.
Now listen here, boy. As long as Carol got this here good thing and this here left, she don't need anything else.
You'll meet Molly, Rosa, Snowflake, Shorty, Crazy Mo, and the Godfather. You'll meet hoods, hustlers, freaks, creeps, cops, crazies, weirdos, winos, hard hats, lowlifes, and God.
Hey, this is the voice of God. What's up?
It's animated, but it's not a cartoon. It's funny, but it's not a comedy. It's real. It's unreal. It's heavy. Heavy Traffic.
there was this little group. And like every little group, there were these little groupies. Sometimes it was a groove, but sometimes it was a bummer. The group, they hadn't made the big time, but they made out okay with every frenzied female freak who flung herself at them. The groupies, urchin camp followers of the rock age. They're addicted to the screaming sounds of now and to the dudes who do it. Group and Groupies is a game of sharing, played by the givers and the takers. The rules aren't rigid, and some are the winners, and some are the losers. Barbara was a winner from the first row. She had all three: looks, money, and class. Duke was the leader. The chicks all dug him. He dug them back, one by one. Dolly thought it could be something wonderful and forever, but she was just this gig's back warmer. Janice and Mike proved that love is blind, even colorblind. But the butt of all bad jokes. He thought flower children were only for plucking, and nobody ever told him, you don't have to rape a groupie, you just have to ask. These are the winners and the losers in a violent, screwed-up world underscored by ear-splitting decibels. With losers, it's a way of life. Bummer. A far-out trip through a hard rock tunnel. Bummer. Rated R.
Cookies like it's got the taste and the feeling you like. Coca-Cola, come on, girl, gotta share a Coke with you. Let the feeling through. You wanna live a little bit more. That's what the taste of Coke is for. Coke and its life, everybody wants a little life. Coca-Cola, Coke and its life.
Well, you really did it to yourself this time.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is.
Ah, those lovely bubbles. Bursting into action, instantly soothing your upset stomach and speeding relief to your aching head. Alka-Seltzer works fast.
Oh, what a relief it is.
My baloney has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Oscar Mayer, the first name in Bologna.
How's that?
Use FinalNet for 5 good reasons. 1, FinalNet is not an aerosol. It's concentrated with a hold that really lasts. 2, it holds without stickiness. 3, it goes where you want it. 4, FinalNet has no aerosol propellants. 5, this much FinalNet goes as far as this much aerosol. Use non-aerosol FinalNet. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Don't come near me.
Thursday, John Amos, Ernest Borgnine, and the cop of the future are set up by a girl on the edge. Then a new puppy brings Chrissy and Jack closer together.
Yeah, there's nothing a girl likes more than a little tickle on the tummy.
Three's Company after Future Cop and Barney Miller.
Who woke me up?
Oh, sorry, Cuckoo. It's this cold. I'm stuffy and my sinuses, oh.
Try 4-way long-acting nasal spray, Nose. It relieves stuffy noses and sinuses up to 10 hours to help you breathe easier so you can fall asleep easier.
Hey, that's a blast.
A blast that lasts all night.
Thanks, Cuckoo. Your timing's right on the nose. 4-way long-acting nasal spray. The blast that lasts all night.
Tab Cola has a beautiful taste, so good for beautiful people. Tab Cola, beautiful to you and me, 'cause every can has less than 2 calories. Tab Cola helps a beautiful shape, just right for beautiful people. Tab Cola tastes so good to you. Great taste, low calorie. Tab.
Greg from Georgia taking a heck of an engineer. Will the signs to dear to the trees, to the sky, to the spring and its glorious happiness, to the youth, to the fire, to the life that is moving and calling us, to the gods, to the fates, to the rulers of men and their destinies, to the lips, to the eyes, to the girls who will love us someday. Fill the skies to dear old Maine, shout till the rafters ring. Stand and drink a toast once again, let every loyal Maine man sing. Then drink to all the happy hours, drink to the careless days. Drink to Maine, our alma mater, the college of our hearts always. I wish I had a barrel of rum and of sugar 3,000 pounds, a college bell to put it in and a clapper to stir it round. I drink to every fellow who comes from far and near. I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a heck of an engineer. I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a heck of an engineer. A heck of an engineer. Like all the jolly fellows, I drink my whiskey clear. I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a heck of an engineer.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.